welcome to another amazing day at fmtraining.tv, where we're here to discuss the fantastic and wonderful FileMaker platform. My name is Margaret. I will be your broadcast engineer for today. I'm here with the wonderful Christian Schmitz, who is probably he makes one of the coolest and best plugins for FileMaker, both Claris platform and the FileMaker platform. If you'd like to support the channel, we would greatly appreciate it. We have the FM Training annual subscription bundle, which is 100 plus hours of really high energy video content. We pretty much cover everything to get started with knowing the FileMaker platform. If you know nothing and want to pursue your own projects yourself, feel free to pick this up and help support the channel, and you get to learn a lot out of it. If you'd also like to buy the Monkeybread plugin, which we highly recommend, monkeybreadsoftware.com. There is a free version, which has a lot of functions, I believe, and then also the paid version is well worth the money. We use the crap out of it. So feel free to stop by this and support Christian Schmitz. We appreciate having him on and talking about his stuff with us. So here we have Christian Schmitz with us today. We also have one of our senior engineers, Calvin Moseman. The wonderful Calvin Moseman is here today to help.
Good afternoon.
I can't always discuss things at Christian's level. Most of the time, quite frankly, I'm nowhere near that much of a senior developer. But he is here to help ask questions and interact and talk about the really cool stuff happening. So with that being said, Christian, what are we doing today?
Yes, I just want to show you what's new in the MBS plugin. So let's share the screen. Let's take a look on this wonderful article Stephanie wrote. So first item new in the plugin version 12.5 is we have one plugin for FileMaker and Claris. So you don't need to have two plugins. And if you use here Claris Pro, you can just launch it and use the plugin. Yeah. So, and the preferences are the plugin just shows up.
Oh, so you don't have to reinstall it?
Actually, no, I think. Let me see. Same folder. So this is, of course, a German version. So I'm not putting it in the extension folder for FileMaker 40. I'm putting it in the shared extension folder here. So I have one MBS plugin for all versions of FileMaker and Claris on my computer.
Nice. That's actually really smooth.
Yeah, because we have one plugin which works for a lot of versions. Makes things easier. And then I want to switch to Windows. And here you see a FileMaker context database, a standard template. And we got a nice feature for our Windows users. So here, database dialog. And there is a new search box. It's only showing if you switch to relationships.
Does the search work the same way as as it previously did? It's just a new location?
No, this is we used to have this for Mac, but now we got a little bit for Windows.
Okay, I see.
This is the first try to see if it works, if people like it, and we may do more for the next version. But for now, it's just a text field. You can type something and press return key, and it jumps to the item which may match to the name.
Okay.
So I can search for more. I can, of course, type something. So let me just create, what can I do? Create. So let's say I add a second address table and a second email table. So if I type here email, it jumps there, type again, jumps there. So this is just like on the Mac that it can
very cool.
Find the next one. It may not work with part of the names because we don't have yet here some auto-completion pop-up menu like on the Mac. So well, it's a help for the Windows people. So
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use that all the time when I'm, especially in big relationship graphs.
Do we have any Windows people on the chat tonight?
I believe I can think of a couple.
Okay,
I don't know if they're going to say anything. I think a couple that I'm looking at names like from Windows here. Yeah, David, Angel, and Lynn. Yeah.
Okay. So please try it. Let me know if you like it. If nobody emails me, nobody likes it. And if I don't get any bug reports, I'm also happy, but so far it seems to work. So hide the Windows machine. Let's talk a little bit about MongoDB. So not sure if any one of you is using MongoDB, but it's an alternative database engine, and you can install it on your server if you like. I, for myself, have here a little MongoDB locally installed on my Mac. Okay. So I can connect here and can take a look in a test database and see that I have here a test database and there's some records as well stored as BSON, but we see them here similar to JSON with names and values. And so with the MBS plugin, we got quite a few MongoDB functions. Let's see. So we currently have a few, 69.
Wow.
So if you have a MongoDB server, like at a client, you can use our plugin to connect, to insert records, to query records, to update records, delete. So you can do all the normal database stuff. And new in the 12.5 version is transactions. So we can start a transaction, we can abort a transaction, we can commit a transaction, and this is something you can try if you like. So you can insert a record, you can check the estimate to see how many you have. Oh, maybe we just try it and see.
Desk, you have a
People like live demos. We have a sample file here. So, oh, there's also an insert. Oh, I made an example script. How nice. So let's see. We connect to the database. We start a transaction and then open the database. Okay. Sure, why not? Database, collection, we count how many entries we have in the table. Then we make the insert. We count again. We abort. And then we count again. So you can guess what numbers will show up.
And not to throw us off, but the in that scripts on the left side or the right side of the scripts list, is that the script ID?
Yeah. Those are script IDs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's new in this one, in this version, right?
No. This is older feature. Like there's a checkbox here. Let's see. Show IDs for scripts. Here, this one.
Okay.
Has been there for a few versions. Okay, I did run the script. It was 11 here, then 12, and back to 11. Well, I can run it again. So 11 records. We inserted. So this is the result for doing the insert operation. You get a counter, how many you inserted, because you can just send also a JSON with a lot of records for our insert many function. And then we get the count is now 12. Let's take a look. Do we see that here? So let's click on local, click on test. So now it's showing us 11, but we see 12 because we see the one which is not yet committed.
Okay.
And then, and back to 11. So I can, of course, change this to commit. And here abort, out, so much here. So let's do it with a commit. Run again. 11, 12. Oh, this is what we got from the commit. So we see here's a timestamp, here's a signature, operation time. Okay. So we get some information here. I would have to look up in the MongoDB documentation to see what it's meaning. But now we have 12 records, and let's go back to the Compass app where we have to find the refresh button. There it is. No, that's a query history. There's a refresh button. Okay, now we have 12.
There we go.
So if you have any need to use MongoDB, you can do that with a plugin. I'm told that the plugin is excellent for this because people are happy that the plugin can write to MongoDB. And it seems like the plugin is quite fast, at least compared to triggering things on a server with a web service.
The search is great. We'll definitely try it from someone who uses Windows and Twitch.
Oh, excellent. So when you are running transaction, you can also query the transaction state. So you can know if you are in a transaction, and also the state to tell you if it's starting, in progress, committed, or aborted. So you can know where you are. So next, if there are no questions, let's take a look on what's
Nope, you're good.
new. So MongoDB, right. So we got some matrix functions. I'm not sure if you know what data types we have in the plugin. The matrix is a way to get a two-dimensional data type. So let me see this article. So I recently wrote a blog article about things you can do with CSV and FileMaker with the MBS plugin. So if you have a CSV or tab-separated text file, you can, of course, read a text file with the plugin, either from a file or from a container. So if you have a file in a container and not on disk, you can also read that as text. Then you can use our matrix functions to read the CSV into our matrix data type, which is a two-dimensional array. And then you can work a little bit with this two-dimensional array by, for example, adding column names or removing a row or removing a column. We sometimes have the problem with using comma versus a dot for decimal separator. So you can, of course, just query all the numbers in a column, change from dot to comma or back, and then put them back. We also can do math operations, like here min, max, sum, average, and multiply can be very useful if you have, for example, percent values and you like to switch from 0 to 100 to 0 to 1. Then you can, of course, add new rows if you need, remove a columns. And if you need a JSON, like for passing it to the MongoDB or to the data API in FileMaker, you can ask the matrix to give you a JSON version of the records, and you can pass in for that a field list, a name of the fields, like here, JSON record. So you pass in the list of the field names to use for the JSON, and then we just build your JSON.
Nice.
Because the matrix preserves the data type, you may have values in the matrix in a certain data type, like a text, a number, a date, a time, a container, whatever. And sometimes you need to convert to a different data type. Like if you would call get as number or get as text in FileMaker, and you can ask the plugin to do that for you, of course, much quicker. With this new function to convert a data type in an area of the matrix. So like we can here put in text, convert to number, and then query a value, and then ask the plugin what is the data type for this value, and this will then show number. This can be very handy because you may want to do something with the matrix, like here use our insert record function to move the records, the rows you have in the matrix into a FileMaker table internally with SQL commands. And for that, the data types need to match. Of course, you can also use a matrix to convert back, like fill it with SQL command, and then output a CSV. Like we have a lot of commands here. So you can, for example, get a CSV from a matrix, or you can get the text, get an individual value, and so on. And the rotate was, oh, that was last version. Was the version, okay. So a lot of people do amazing things with that. It's just a basic data type, and what you do with it depends totally on you. Some people just use it as a kind of a clipboard to just store values related to some records. So back to my blog post. Here, this one. So convert data type is new. Then if you use our LDAP functions to connect to an LDAP server or Active Directory, you can do a lot of things, like, for example, send a query, get back the data as text fields or as JSON. And now you can tell the plugin which fields are binary fields. So we can encode them as hex strings, because passing in a new ID as a text, 16-byte text, doesn't make sense. Same for any JPEG pictures. So we should encode them so you can actually show them to the user by decoding from hex. We could also have picked base 64, but well, for some reason we did hex. Then we have a few list functions here. So if you have different matrix objects in memory, you can use, for example, here matrix.list to get the IDs for those objects, so you know how many objects you have and what IDs they have. This is mainly used for debugging. Like you write a script which creates a few, maybe JSON objects or MongoDB connections, and on the end of the script you want to make sure that you close all these objects, so you call the release methods. And the list function allows you to check if any connection is still open. Can be useful. And we frequently get emails from people who have problems because they have too many images loaded into memory, like with our graphics magic functions. So it's very important that when you create an object in the script, you also make sure you release it. Okay, so we have another function to query the window title of the focused window. And we added this function because some people like to build things with our hotkey functions, for example, or our context menu extensions. And you may want to know which window is in the front before you do something. So we got a function to return you the title of the front window, and you can decide based on the title if you want to do some special action or not. This is very interesting for people who like to automate FileMaker. Then we got photo picker functions for iOS. So here are they, the functions. If you like to have the user import a few pictures from the iPhoto library on your iPhone, you can do that in an iOS SDK-based app and get the picture files to import into your FileMaker database.
That's cool. So is that a permission dialog?
Yeah, by using the new photo picker from Apple, there is no permission dialog because you don't have to grant permission. You just get the pictures the user allows you to see, so there is no separate permission dialog. And some people may like to, well, let people just take pictures on the go and then have them launch their iOS app made with FileMaker, and then just move the pictures into the database. So another thing we got for Windows is a way to make a file read-only. So if you have a file path, you can tell the plugin to set the read-only flag on this file, and then people may have a little bit more time needed to overwrite the file. Yeah.
So is this for make your FileMaker file read-only, or for files that you download from FileMaker read-only?
No, this is any file on disk. You can just pass in the path, and if you have permissions to change the file attributes, we can change it.
Oh,
interesting.
Yeah, so the idea is we already have this POSIX permission thing for Mac, where you can just change the Unix permissions for a file. And sometimes you may want to have a file stored somewhere and just mark it as read-only, so nobody accidentally changes it. So let's take a look. What do we have otherwise? Oh, we have the .p calculation function. Do you know that? Sometimes you have now web services which need a second factor for logging in. If you want to automate using those services in FileMaker, you may find it very annoying to find your authenticator app and enter a 60-digit code to pass back to the web service. So we calculate that. You may not need to know, of course, all the details for your web services, like what's the secret key used, what is the time step and start values, and how many digits do you need, and optionally which algorithm to use. We used to only have SHA-1, but now we can also do several of them, and you can decide whether the password is base 32 encoded, not 64, but 32. And if you have that, we can decode it before we do the calculation. And that's needed for a few services. It depends if your service gives you the secret already encoded or not encoded, and which algorithms they use. Usually, the time is just 30 seconds and start 0, but if you're not told otherwise, you may just try that. And we compared it to a few other authentication apps, and it seems like our algorithm works. So if you have a web service needing one of this 6 or 8 digit input, we can calculate that for you.
So wait, this is me a dumb question. Does it pull it from like you get sent the number, then it pulls the number and puts it in, or does it actually like guess what the number is?
This is just a calculation function.
Got it.
It takes input, does some math, some hashing, and gives you a number back.
Got it. Okay, cool. That's actually really quite cool.
And the key here is that we avoid someone sitting in front of the computer and typing in the number.
Yes, saves you from that agony.
Yeah, we want to automate things. Back to my release notes. So we talked about MongoDB, that focused. So if you need to write files, we have binary file functions. So this allows you to exactly write a file and specify every byte of it, or if you have a special file to read exactly byte for byte the file. We have functions for different data types, like here reading an integer, where you can say whether it's 8-bit, 16-bit, 32, or 64-bit. We got here new the endian swap, so you can decide whether which order the bytes are for the number. Like you may know that, let's say a 16-bit number for the Intel CPUs, little endian store the higher byte first and the lower byte second, while a PowerPC CPU with big endian stores the higher byte first. It's a little difference, but if you have a file format, you should always know which way it's written. So if you have any special files to read or write, you can exactly do that. Like we once had a company where they did JPEG files and put in a custom header in front of it. So we used the function to first read the header, and then here read container is to basically tell the plugin, read the next n bytes and then give it back as a container. So we can here read a JPEG file. You may have seen the functions in FileMaker to read and write files. And here, this is basically the MBS answer with a lot of more control and not limited to some arbitrary, well, to a size. I mean, you can write a 500 megabyte container or 500 megabyte text with one function call.
Which is actually really cool. So.
And of course, you can tell the text encoding to use, so you can write things to a file. Well, if you have the need for special file types, you may find this quite great. So we can show now again a contact as a popover. Well, if you use our contact functions and you store a contact ID, it may be helpful. Then our code folding got improved.
Oh, yes, everyone's favorite addition.
So let's say else if 1, 2, 3, else. So let's put some lines between. Hey. Okay. So you see the little, if you click on the line, there's a little widget here, and it allows you to collapse. The thing new in 12.5 is that we only collapse to the next else.
Oh, so it doesn't automatically collapse everything.
Yeah, because people like to just collapse a branch here and not the whole thing.
Can you collapse it with the arrow keys?
No, I don't think we have any keyboard command here.
Okay. Very cool.
The thing is just when you click on the line, we read the current line and we see, oh, it's starting with if. So let's look on the following line to find the ones with else and if, which belong to the same thing. So I can add another if here. And you see when I click here, it highlights the matching ones, not here, the one between. And this code could extend to, if you click on the line, to also show you the widget here. So and sometimes it disappears if FileMaker redraws the line, but if you click on the line, you get a fresh one. So yeah, a lot of people like that.
Yes,
Very
I think Claris had plenty of time to make it on their own. Oh, then we improved the command URLs.
Oh,
really?
So you may have known that we have something like here test HTTP FM training TV. So when the plugin sees an URL, we put in the little widget here.
Oh, nice.
But the new thing here is that you can now use FMP URL starting with a $sign there. And this will trigger a script in the current file. So let's try it. Let's make a test script, a dialog. So works. So now let's try to trigger the script. What do we do? So we would do FMP /$ oops. Oh yeah, the variable auto-completion came in. So let's see. So we would have, what do we need? Okay, so the script is test. And we got a permission error.
Oh no.
So let's go to what security. This is a very secure place here, and
yeah, I don't
we don't
remember
have passwords, but there's URL here. URLs.
There it is.
So we don't have passwords, but we need checkboxes here. So admin. Hey. So let's try again. Yeah, it works.
Very cool.
So you can trigger a script from within FileMaker by here our little button. And the dollar is replaced with the current file name and the URL. No, actually the file name, I think, is put in between the slash and the question mark. The cool thing is you can just here write something and say, see in the wiki, put in the wiki URL, or you can say, see other script somewhere else, and you can run a script to open a second file, maybe go to a second database.
Very cool.
Yeah. So people find uses for it, find tricks what they can do.
Definitely.
Okay. The collapse on the if statement is macOS only. Sorry, no. Okay, that was a question in the chat. A lot of our Mac goodies are for Mac only.
Alas.
But we got the search box for Windows now.
Yeah. You can now don't have to hunt through a spider's web worth of relationships anymore.
So if you use a custom web viewer with the MBS plugin, it now survives FileMaker rebuilding the layout. Let's see. Plugin works with Claris Server. We had that. We can use our webhook functions and have them find a port. Well, why not try that? So let's say you want to have a webhook and you don't like to specify a port. So we leave that empty. Press start. Oh, what port did we get? Let's find out. MBS webhook get port $webhook. I think it was $webhook, but it says invalid number. Oh no, what happened?
It's being temperamental.
Webhooks. Oh, it's webhooks. So little errors. So, oh, now autocompletion knows. Okay, we got a port number. 62339. Okay, let's remember that number.
62339.
Yeah, I put it in the chat.
Oh, I see that.
We see here the webhook is running. It's waiting for someone to call. Let's just do that in the terminal, HTTP localhost and the magic number. And just run it, and you see we got here the test request. Let's say test 2. I know we have test 2. So I can initialize the webhook, and the plugin picks a port, which of course is free at the time we start the webhook. And so you don't need to use a fixed number, because you never know if some other software is using that port number.
Right. Very cool.
And of course, you can just trigger the webhook from a browser. So localhost. And we now got here requests from Safari coming in for the website and for favorite icon. So if you have any need for a webhook in FileMaker Pro, iOS, server, you can use our webhook functions. Okay, sometimes you may need to convert an XML to JSON or back, and we have 2 functions for that.
Okay.
They got improved a lot over the time. So you can, well, convert things. Sometimes you need that because maybe a web service gives you an XML with some records, but you need to use the data API in FileMaker, so you need JSON. So you can convert it, maybe modify a few things, and then pass it over.
Right. We do have one question in Discord. The fact of being able to search, does the fact of being able to search in the relationship open other possibilities of that kind for Windows?
Well, for years, I've tried to directly modify the controls Claris uses on Windows. That didn't work. Now I figured out that this dialog on Windows, do we still have it? Yeah, here. So if the plugin asks FileMaker here on this window, how many controls are there? No, we ask Windows, how many controls are here? Windows says none. There's nothing on this window as far as the plugin can see. But as you see, there is something, because there are some C++ classes which define those controls, and they draw directly into the window, and the plugin sees nothing. But on the third tab, we have a custom control here, this box here with the scroll bars. This is an old-style Windows 32-bit control, which the plugin can see. And this opens the possibility to send the text to the control. And I decided to just put in a search box here. The search box shows if the plugin sees the control. So if you click here, we hide it within a second or so. And if you click back, so we show it. So the thing is, we don't see the tabs, we don't see the text around, we just, in the plugin, we see there's one control in the middle with a special name. And so we look for this name. Is it there? Is it not there? And so for this window, we got a solution.
We have a quick question from Twitch. How do you get second and third occurrences, etc., with the search again?
Well, just make a few more here. So search A again. We can just jump from one to the other. So just search again to find the next one. You will quickly find out what the search can do and can't do. I think someone complained about that it doesn't search within the words, so it just searches the text from the beginning. Well, that's how it works. Okay, so let's go back. What else did we do? A couple of bug fixes, yeah. Email parser, yeah. URL detection. Focus dialog for iOS. That's something you may have seen on the blog. So here, this little video shows it. So we made a podcast dialog for iOS. So if you make an iOS solution based on the FileMaker iOS SDK, you can use the functions to show a progress bar like this. If you don't like a round one, we can also show you a rectangle one.
Very cool.
Yeah. Also, you may just look on our blog to find tips and tricks around the plugin. So.
Yes, I'll get a link for that for people real fast. They can just go straight to it.
I think that's it for the release notes.
Which are awesome. Again, thank you very much, Christian. Any questions, everyone, on the release notes? Actually, if you have questions about, I need to do this, can Monkeybread do this? That would be the time. We've got 15 minutes if you want to use them. Okay, wow, this is a specific one. Do the MBS email functions work directly with Amazon Simple Email, or is it just the SMTP and other curl functions?
Well, it's just SMTP. But doesn't Amazon also have SMTP servers?
The last plugin file was compiled November 10th? Question mark.
Well, I build several plugin files every day. So, but this one is 10th November, yeah.
The release was the 10th. Okay.
The
Actually,
one that we're allowed
8th,
to play with.
it was Tuesday, but we had a stupid bugs in the JSON parsing. So I quickly uploaded a new version on the 10th.
Okay, we've actually got two questions.
Yeah.
What would your preferred / recommended method be to get data from the forms on a WordPress website into FileMaker?
Wait, so the WordPress website is your website, and someone types in something and you want to store that into FileMaker?
That's what it sounds like. I'll put the question into Discord so you can read it directly.
Question from YouTube. So when you have a WordPress on the website and it has a form, so you would usually store the things locally on the web server, maybe in a MySQL database. Then you can decide which way to go. You can use our SQL functions in the MBS plugin to connect to the same MySQL server and copy the records. Or you may define in WordPress a little PHP script, maybe to query the records as JSON, for example, and then trigger that with either insert from URL in FileMaker or our curl functions.
William, let us know if that answered your question. If not, feel free to ask a follow-up. From
another way, if your FileMaker server is in the internet public, you can also have the WordPress site use the data API with PHP script directly, or whatever scripting language you like. I mean, you don't need to write it in PHP. So you could have the WordPress directly push it to the FileMaker server.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, about SMTP trouble. So a couple of services like Gmail and Microsoft don't like the normal SMTP login anymore. So there are currently two choices usually. The first is you can make an app-specific password and continue using SMTP with username and password. And the other thing is to use open authentication and then get a token for your login, and then pass the token to the plugin, and then use username and token for the login. We don't have currently an example for that, but maybe I find time for it in the next weeks, because it seems to be a frequent question in the last weeks.
Coming up. Token sounds complicated.
Yeah, you do the OAuth steps, so you have to show a web viewer where the user can log in. You may need to register an app ID with Microsoft or Google. So because you need to define the callback, where the callback goes. So usually you would put maybe some script on a website from you to take the login, get the callback, and then store the token you get somewhere so you can use it in FileMaker. It's a little bit tricky. We did it years ago for Twitter, and I'm not that happy to use OAuth for sending emails.
We have a question from Twitch. What's the difference between the Monkeybread photo picker and the FileMaker Go's photo picker?
We use a newer photo picker. So if you use the FileMaker ones, you should be asked at least once about whether you grant permissions to your photo library to FileMaker. And with that permission, FileMaker has the ability to delete all your pictures. Of course, it may not do that, but the old implementation is a little bit different. The newer one works also with live pictures if you need that, and can download things from the cloud if needed. That's what you may have seen here on the photo picture functions. If you get the callback, the script called when it's done, you can ask if we are still loading images. You can ask how many images we have, how many bytes do we download, and how many bytes are downloaded. This way you can show a little progress dialog while the pictures the user selected are still downloading if they are not locally stored on the device. So this is fully cloud aware.
There you go, Ekelburn. If you follow up.
And you can pick several pictures, of course. I think FileMaker can just pick one.
I think you're right. It's been a while since I've looked at it, but yeah. So if you got a follow-up, Ekelburn, feel free to send it. AL92 would like to know if there is a shortcut to go back into the search field to search again. So after you complete a search.
On Windows? No, we don't have that yet. But we can take maybe suggestions for what you would like to see.
Do you have a suggestion, AL92? Which?
So the plugin may register some kind of hotkey when the field is shown, and when the field is destroyed.
Could we do a Command or Control F?
Yeah, that would be probably the easiest idea. Yeah, well, something for the to-do list for next version, I mean.
There you go. Does anyone have anything else they would like to add to Christian Schmidt's to-do list, or any other questions?
Yeah, if you have ideas for new plugin functions, you're always welcome to tell me, because I usually don't know what I should code. Like when we go back to the release notes here, the search field has been a request for years. The MongoDB things are nice for my marketing, but this is something I made for one client, this I made for another client, this is for a client. The shift, oh, I should show you. This is something I made for a client, this is something I made for a client, this, and this, and this. someone asks for it usually.
Mhm.
And so let's just open the data viewer and show you my new shortcut. So the shortcut is Command Option 5 or 6. And so we have some text here, and I select some text and I press Command Option 6, and the text moves right.
Ooh,
and
nice.
with 5, it moves left.
That's very cool.
Oh, yeah. So the keys on the keyboard, on the US keyboard, it's brackets.
Okay.
And for different keyboards have different things, so you may check which key it's for the different keyboards on the world. Please try it.
That would, yes, definitely. I've definitely tried. A suggestion: a shortcut key would be great to cycle through similarly named TOs.
So you want not just one to go in the field, you want one to search next.
Yes.
Okay. Control F, search. Control G, maybe. Search again. I don't know.
We have a question from Michelle Gravel, kind of like a more general one. Are you not afraid that when you add a new function, it'll break something somewhere else?
I'm not afraid. Well, things happen. Like I coded the search box for Windows, and I tried it. It worked nice. I tried it on a different PC. Worked also nice. Different FileMaker version, also nice. And then I sent it to a client, and the client directly said me, I don't see a search box. And then you go and search. What's the difference? What is different on this computer where you don't see a search box? And then someone sees a search box finally, and you start. I typed something, pressed search, clicked on another tab, and I see the search box disappears, but shows still shows something. So for every search, they saw a ghost search box. Strange, but well, I had to fix it. So,
There you go, Michelle Gravel. Christian Schmitz has no fear. We got another question. Does search go to TOs if they are off screen?
do we have still Windows running? Yeah. So there's the email address. Put it far down. There it goes.
Oh.
So
And a common
seems to
one.
work.
Yep, there you go, AL92. It works. We've got a common question. People like to ask beginner videos. Like, where do I start with MVS? We've got one of those in YouTube.
Yeah, we have a couple of videos on YouTube. On our download page are videos about the installation, English and German, Windows and Mac. A lot of work. So maybe those help.
Yes, and also, go
the
ahead,
plugin
sorry.
is very wide. So you usually go and install the plugin, then look on the examples, and you may find a lot of examples, and then pick one which you like, and maybe copy some code. Like, let's see, you're interested on uploading here an Amazon file to Amazon. Okay, let's take a look on the example. Then you open the example database, or here in the documentation, you find the DDR reports, so you can see the script somewhere here. Oh, there's, for example, a script, and you may just copy the script from the solution, adjust it a little bit, click all the links for the functions to read about what each function does, and if you really need it here. And then you can maybe solve the problem you have to solve within a couple of minutes.
Yes, and we also have, if you go look through our video library, William, Christian has been wonderful enough to do a lot of videos on his product with us over the last couple years. So
Yeah, so here you have videos we have here on the about the plugin, and we have here also linked FM training TV videos.
Yes, so feel free to look through those. We have a suggestion for the search shortcut. Stay in the search box so that search again is just enter.
Yeah, we'll think about it. There are different things to think about. The first thing would be to go to the box and type something like Control F and see if something happens already. That's the first thing I would do. Or Control G or so. The problem with the return key anyway is that it closes the dialog, so that's quite annoying. Okay.
I think we're good. I don't see any other questions wandering in. Thank you very much, Christian. We greatly appreciate it. Seriously, it's always great to have you on.
Yeah.
Everybody go buy this. Seriously, RCC makes a point of not recommending a lot of things. We recommend the MBS plugin. It's fan-friggin-tastic. It does so much. And you can literally send Christian an email, whatever, and he'll respond or he'll add it. It's just great. So thank you very much for coming on. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you again, Calvin, for also helping out. Appreciate that too.
Not a problem.
Got a report of an individual up here who may be a FileMaker license. Well, it's potentially expired. Look at the back of that car right there. Looks like the FileMaker license has expired. Sir, I need you to step out of the vehicle. Sir, step out of the vehicle. Sir!